Hello everyone, welcome back to Grounded Roots Healing. My name is Jason and I'm a spiritual teacher as well as other things that I'm trying to sort out. Other abilities. I'm also a father and a husband and all those different roles that we all play. Today I'm going to talk about forgiveness. Just in general. This seems to be the way these videos are going nowadays. And I'll have a conversation with Amanda, my beautiful wife, and she'll point out something that she noticed, and it'll lead me to some sort of epiphany or better understanding of how the system works. Now it is raining. I'm here charging the car again because I can't sleep. Now, whenever the universe would like to relieve this insomnia, it can go right ahead. I'm not sure what the value of it is or what's causing it still to this point. But man, it's still a thing, you know? I'm pretty exhausted. I haven't slept well in months. And that's no exaggeration. So if I can keep my wits about me and hopefully this isn't too loud on the camera, but keep my wits about me and keep my focus with this lack of sleep, we'll get a video out. So what triggered me to start thinking about forgiveness? So as I've said many times before, I was an alcoholic at one point in my life, and I've since quit. Not even sure how many months. It was March 2nd March 1st when I had my last drink. And actually hadn't drank very much at all since December of last year. So it's coming close to a year, but definitely over 7 months now. So yay for me. But having been an alcoholic, that had an effect on people closest to me, without a doubt. And I mean, there's no way around this. Now, to say this without incriminating anyone, because there is no one to incriminate. There's nothing that anyone is doing wrong, but someone close to me essentially was affected by this and is still affected to this day. And it's not like it's ruined our relationship or anything like that. In fact, our relationship has only gotten stronger, but it has caused tension, and it has caused something that needs to be healed in this person. And then I got to thinking about forgiving myself for that. So that's a tough one, you know. To trigger the guilt when I know that what I was doing was the only reason I actually survived to this point. If I hadn't drank and I hadn't self-medicated, I wouldn't be here. I know it. But it doesn't, you want to take responsibility, but also I know that I needed to do that in order to make it this far, to the point where I could awaken. Okay, so I know that there are very few points in our life where we weren't meant to go through something, and that the universe uses you to affect change in other people or to cause them hurt so that they have to face something they wrote into their own story as a conscious being. You know, this is a schoolhouse, and it's an intricate play that we're living in, and you're not going to be innocent of all the things where you get to just walk away and never have done anything bad to anyone. The universe will use you to affect change in other people. So how can you feel guilty when you know you know that it was part of the bigger plan. I know this. So, and since I've had the awakening, I am not the same person. The day after that happened, there was no longer the old Jason. He didn't exist. And this isn't an exaggeration. I am not the same person. I don't think the same way. I don't feel the same way about anything. I don't react the same way. I still have those behavioral patterns, some of them, that are built into us from these lives that we've led, that have conditioned us in order to act in certain ways when certain things happen. It's like a computer program. This happens, run script A. Do this. Some people, they choose to react and push other people away, and other people turn to the inward and cry, and there's a million different ways to do it, and whichever circuit you have written into your programming is what you're going to do. And this is what happens until that day that you awaken and you realize that this stuff isn't real, and you have to stop doing it. So you start working on changing these behavioral patterns. You start rewiring your brain. And you start healing all the trauma, and you do all the stuff. Okay. So I'm not the same person, and I've forgiven myself. And I really have. So I don't feel guilt for those things that I did. And I need to not feel guilt for that because it wasn't my fault. Even if it was my fault, I've forgiven myself for it. It doesn't matter. We've moved on. This was going to happen this way no matter what. This person needed this lesson, therefore I was going to be the person to play that lesson for them. We wrote it in before we came here. Okay, this is all great. Relationships getting better, we're all healing this. This other person will go through the steps of healing and learning the lessons from whatever I did while I was drinking alcohol. Okay. Then that brings me to the people that I need to forgive. So I had some pretty, what would you call them, unforgivable people in my life, and I need to forgive them. Really forgive them. So when I had this particular picture of what that relationship between these people who caused the abuse in my early life, who caused me all of this trauma, and were, the reason that I had most of the issues that I had, the image that I had for what that was, those relationships, what they were, I had forgiven them for it. And then I realized that at a higher level of the game, they're playing for the other team. They're under the influence of other beings, and I blamed them for grooming me essentially into being a alcoholic, a depressed person, having suicidal ideation, having all of this stuff that I've since healed. And I did blame them for that, and I didn't want ever to see them again. So did I forgive them? After I forgave them with the version of them that I had that wasn't so bad, and then when the version of them got worse, I pulled my forgiveness back. So I'm looking at that and saying, well, what is the difference? What is the difference between what I did and what they did? Nothing. This is all a game. It's all simulated. The play, the act, all of this stuff, the good and the evil, and it's just higher levels to the game. So in order to progress past the second level of this game, or third. I don't even know what level I'm on anymore. In order for me to do that, I have to forgive every single thing that anyone has ever done to me and ever will do. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." They literally do not know what they do. They are possessed in a way by whatever you want to call them. I call them low vibrational entities sometimes. Various religions call them demons, or monitoring spirits is another one I've heard of. What are they? They're a fabrication. They are the yin to the yang. They are the trough to the peak on a sinusoidal curve. They are the opposing force. In order for you to understand what good is, you must see evil. Therefore, they are part of this game. And this entire thing is from the Creator. Therefore, how can you hate anybody? How can you not have forgiveness in your heart? This all happened for a reason. All of it. The good, the very worst, and the good. And I've just today had this level of clarity with this. That, I don't want... It doesn't mean I have to have people around me that I don't like their energy, that are opposing energies, that aren't playing for the same team. But it also means that I have to forgive them. I have to not wish anything bad on them. I have to pray that they reach the level of understanding that I have. And that is empathy. That is sympathy. And that is forgiveness. Yeah, this is a good thing. It's almost as if I died last December. When I awoke, the old Jason died, and it's a new person that's filling those shoes, that's inhabiting this body. It was that dramatic, that instantaneous. I mean, I quit drinking immediately, essentially, and I've been drinking forever. So, since I was a kid. The forgiveness. There's going to be a awful pile of just atrocious things that are going to come to light. This world and the other team, they they are capable of unbelievable levels of cruelty. And this is what is going to be the biggest challenge for me. Forgiving people who've hurt children. If you've watched the news, and which I don't recommend, not for very long anyway, because that is a propaganda, by the way. But certain things come out, especially on things like Russell Brand's channel, for example. There's very little filter on that, and you will get some accurate information. There are people, especially in Hollywood, this is what's coming out to light right now, but there are people in Hollywood, and a lot of people in Hollywood, that you're going to be extremely surprised at what they were up to, and it won't be good. Which will lead to whistleblowers and incredible people incriminating other very, very high level folks in this world of things that we should deem unforgivable. But Jesus was able to forgive the people who were killing him while they were killing him. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Also, there'll be a lot of information about Jesus coming out. The whole story has not been told, by the way, just so you know. There's a lot more to this one. And a lot more is known about what happened and where he went and all this stuff. So, I think that's where I'll leave it. Forgiveness is the key to everything. Forgiveness is understanding that this entire play, and really feeling that this entire play is just that. It's a play. And those people are playing the role that this simulation is designed for them to play. And if you forgive them, that means you understand this to be the ultimate truth. There is no doubt in your mind anymore as to what this is. And I have none left. I don't always feel this way. I have my moments. But man, it's getting really, really difficult to shake me now. And that's a good thing. It feels good. So, here's to forgiveness. And here's to me praying that you find this as soon as you can, as soon as it's written in for you. And we can go on to living the second act of this play, where things get a lot better for the light side of this game that we're in. And it doesn't have to be so crappy. Anyway, I'll leave it there. So, like I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.